Welcome to today's Explainer. Okay, let's dive right into this because today we're unpacking one of the most complex, intensely revered places on the entire planet, Jerusalem. Now, we're not just going to look at it as a dot on a map. Instead, we're taking a really structured, chronological approach to figure out exactly how this singular city, carved right into the hills of the Judean landscape, became the ultimate spiritual crossroads for three major world religions. It's a city entirely shaped by this wild cycle of devotion, conquest, and just absolute resilience.
So to really grasp this 5,000-year-old tapestry of faith impartially, here's our roadmap for today. We'll start off with the ultimate spiritual crossroads, then move into Lesson 1, tracing the origins. Next up, Lesson 2, the sacred sites, followed by Lesson 3, shared geography. And finally, we'll wrap it all up with a tapestry of belief.
All right, let's get into it. Section 1, the ultimate spiritual crossroads, a city of transformation and hope.
This region sits literally right at the intersection of three continents. And to truly wrap our heads around why it matters so much, you've got to consider this insane density of devotion. 4.3 billion, that is more than half of the entire global population that holds this one city sacred. We're talking about 2.3 billion Christians, nearly 2 billion Muslims, and around 15 million Jews. Just think about that for a second. That is an immense amount of human focus zeroed in on one single geographic location.
The whole atmosphere of Jerusalem is honestly best captured by this thought. This is where faiths were born, where prophets walked, where a golden dome rises over a land of belief. It really evokes the deep, emotional weight of the place, you know? And what's truly astonishing is that this land of belief has also been a land of profound, profound struggle. I mean, it's been conquered more than 40 times over thousands of years. It's endured this unending cycle of destruction and rebirth. And yet, the faithful have never let it fade.
Moving on to Section 2, Lesson 1, Tracing the Origins, the historical flow of faith. Let's trace how this actually built up over time. Around 1000 BCE, King David established Jerusalem as the capital of ancient Israel. Then, his son, King Solomon, built the magnificent First Temple, which was this incredibly sacred space believed to connect heaven and earth. Fast forward a bit to the 1st century CE. The city is under Roman rule, it's filled with tension, and Jesus of Nazareth begins teaching a message of love and faith that just spreads like wildfire. Then, jumping ahead to 638 CE, Muslim armies entered Jerusalem, adding yet another profound sacred dimension to the city's history, forever cementing its role as a spiritual cornerstone. So, the really crucial point here is how distinct, yet geographically overlapping, these foundational events actually are. For Judaism, the theological anchor is that establishment by King David and the monumental construction of the temples. For Christianity, the core event is the crucifixion and the resurrection of Jesus of Nazareth, happening right there in the city streets. And for Islam, it's the Prophet Muhammad's miraculous night journey from Mecca to Jerusalem and his subsequent ascension to heaven. So you've got three monumental anchors all rooted in one singular city.
Which naturally leads us to a very practical question, right? If all three of these massive global faiths have their profound historical anchors here, how exactly do they share one ancient city today?
Let's explore that in Section 3. Lesson 2, the sacred sites, physical stones, eternal devotion.
When you look at the devotion here, it is so powerfully tactile. On the one hand, we have the Western Wall, Judaism's holiest surviving site. After the Romans destroyed the Second Temple in 70 CE, this outer wall was literally all that was left. And today, worshippers actually press their hands against its ancient stones and slip written prayers right into the cracks. It's this quiet, incredibly powerful symbol of survival. Now, on the other hand, we have the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, which is Christianity's holiest site. It marks Golgotha, the place where Jesus was crucified and buried. Visitors here kneel at the stone of anointing, completely surrounded by the heavy scent of incense, flickering candlelight, and a glowing empty tomb right under a massive dome. In both of these places, you see this deeply physical, hands-on connection to the divine. And that physical connection just continues as worshippers literally walk through history. For Christians, millions retrace the Via Dolorosa, the Way of Sorrows. This path physically traces the narrative step by step, starting from Jesus spreading his message to his arrest, the agonizing journey carrying his cross through the streets, ending at Golgotha for the crucifixion, and finally the resurrection 3 days later. Believers walk these exact, ancient streets to physically remember his journey.
Meanwhile, Islamic rulers over the centuries both safeguarded the city's heritage and added some absolutely breathtaking architectural marvels of their own. To honor the Prophet Muhammad's miraculous night journey, they constructed the Dome of the Rock. Its golden dome gleams like a celestial beacon over the old city, protecting the foundation stone where the ascension is believed to have taken place. And right beside it is the Al-Aqsa Mosque. Now, it's really vital to note here that before Mecca, Jerusalem was actually the original direction of Muslim prayer. It's Islam's third holiest site, firmly rooting the faith in this exact geography. And honestly, the truly staggering part, the Dome of the Rock, the Western Wall, and the Holy Sepulchre, they all sit within just a few hundred yards of each other.
Okay, moving to Section 4. Lesson 3. Shared Geography, the Labyrinth of Faith.
Jerusalem's Old City is an absolute labyrinth. It's formally divided into 4 distinct quarters, and get this, they are all packed into an area less than 1 square kilometer. You have the Jewish quarter, where prayers echo through time at the Western Wall. Right next door is the Christian quarter, where you can trace those footsteps of devotion to the Holy Sepulchre. Then there's the Muslim quarter, where calls to prayer drift right over the ancient rooftops from the Dome of the Rock. And finally, the Armenian quarter, representing one of the world's oldest Christian communities. They all exist side by side, preserving completely distinct yet endlessly intertwined heritages within the exact same ancient walls.
Now, what's really fascinating here is the Tower of David. The distinct layers of stonework on this ancient fortification perfectly encapsulate the city's chaotic shared history. This one structure, sitting right at the heart of the city, is basically an architectural timeline. First, it was established by the Hasmoneans, then reinforced by King Herod, occupied and modified by the Romans, and then eventually rebuilt and repurposed by both the Crusaders and the Ottomans. Literally, every empire that swept through left its own mark on this exact same pile of stones.
And this brilliant shared geography extends just beyond the old city walls too, right over to the Mount of Olives. This single rising geographic feature holds monumental significance for all 3 faiths. For Judaism, it's been a sacred burial ground for 3,000 years, with tombs facing the city in anticipation of the Messiah's arrival. For Christianity, it holds the Garden of Gethsemane, where Jesus prayed before his arrest, and the Chapel of the Ascension. And for Islam, teachings link this exact mount to Judgment Day, where a bridge will separate the righteous from the fallen, leading to paradise. So that's one mountain, but 3 profound, apocalyptic, and historical meanings.
Bringing us to our final module, Section 5, A Tapestry of Belief, Resilience and Transformation.
The overarching theme of this city is absolutely its unbroken connection. Over 5,000 years, Jerusalem has been conquered 40 times. The Babylonians destroyed it, the Romans left it in ruins, the Crusaders and Ottomans swept through, and of course modern geopolitical struggles continue to shape it today. The city has been leveled, burned, and rebuilt over and over and over again, and yet the faithful, Jews, Christians, and Muslims, have always returned. That connection has literally never, ever been broken.
Which leaves us with this final, really profound thought to chew on. If this singular ancient city, carved into the Judean hills, can survive thousands of years of constant destruction and rebirth, what can its resilience teach us about the enduring, unstoppable power of human belief? It's a city of stone, sure, but it is entirely held together by spirit. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer on the ultimate spiritual crossroads. Keep asking questions, keep learning, and I'll catch you next time.